Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our Dharma with streaming. So last week we discussed a little bit about the Three Dharma Seal, and also we already start with the first Dharma Seal, which is impermanence. So now I'm going to give a brief review about what we talked or discussed about in our previous class about this Three Dharma Seal, and you can have a review about it. So what are these three Dharma Seal, and why is it so important in Buddhism? So in the Four Noble Truths and also the Eightfold Path, we really talk about what are the teachings from the Buddha, the truth in this universal world. And in order to confirm and affirm that this is the truth, so the Buddha continued to give affirmations about what is the truth. And this Three Dharma Seal basically is what the Buddha has confirmed and also affirmed that this is the truth of this phenomenal world. And that's the reason why the Three Dharma Seal is very important in Buddhism, because this is the ultimate teachings from the Buddha about this phenomenal world, or including ourselves. And we talked a lot about non-self, not attachment. We have to let go, and what are the sufferings that we have, and how do we practice in our daily life or utilize in our daily life or live our daily life using the teachings from the Buddha. And in here, when we talk about this Three Dharma Seal, basically is to confirm with all of us is that when we learn the Dharma, these are the things that we cannot, this is the teachings that we cannot let go. And if there are any schools or Buddhist meditation center or any places that you learn or you visit and they say about the teachings from the Buddha, if they did not mention about the Three Dharma Seal, basically this is not the ultimate teaching, or this is not the teachings from the Buddha. In here, Buddha says that from something to be truth, it must have the following basic characteristic. It must be universally true and apply to all things equally. When we say universally true, means that this is something that we cannot deny that is not true. And this is something that applies to every being, including the things. So it must be certainly true and happened every time. It happens in the past, present, and it will also happen in the future. For example, all people are born and all people must die. This is the truth, and it's the ultimate truth. Because regardless of whether we are Chinese or we are Indian, we are American, Australian, or anyone in this world, it applies to everyone, including the animals and insects. So it's not something that just to certain people or certain races. It happens to everyone. And it's not just happened in now, it also happens in the past, now, and also future. The Three Dharma Seals are truth that affirm that Dharma and are common to all Buddhist traditions. All Buddhist tradition has to rely or learn the Three Dharma Seal and recognize the Three Dharma Seal in order to liberate out the circle of birth and death or suffering. When we recognize it, then we choose what path we continue to go. So what are these Three Dharma Seal? The Three Dharma Seal are: all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. All phenomena are without an independent self. It has to depend on other things in order to exist. So there's no self. And nirvana is perfectly tranquility. This is the ultimate goal if we want to release out from this cycle of birth and death, and also from suffering. Impermanence is the meaning of changing all the time. Every minute, every second, things are changing and changing and changing. And lack of an independent self. Because it's changing, so nothing is fixed there. And because nothing is fixed there, there's no absolute existence. There's no such thing as an entity that creates by itself or appear by itself. It has to rely on other things to come together to create certain things. And so, since this is the truth of this phenomenal world, the seal is a way to stamp that this is the truth. And this is nothing that does not possess. There is nothing that does not possess these three characteristics. Another reason that Buddhists call these three truths the Dharma seal is that they are similar to official seal that prove documents and are real and not fraud. So that's why it's called the truth. Whether we accept it or we deny it, it won't change. It is the truth. When I say it won't change, means that this truth is impermanent and it's not self. And because it's changing and changing and changing, that's why this is the truth. And any truth that is stamped with all the three Dharma seal is the teachings from the Buddha. So there are many teachings in Buddhism. You might read a lot of books or articles about the teachings in Buddhism. And a lot of people say that, oh, Buddhism is the teachings of emptiness. Mm-hmm. But emptiness is also impermanence. It's not nothing. Emptiness means changing. Sunyata means changing all the time. There's no a fixed entity. And that's why it's also impermanence and without self. And that's the reason why is that all the teachings in Buddhism has to be related or has to be tied with the three Dharma seal. And the Buddha teach about this basic truth. It's not because he was pessimistic, but because he wants people to fully understand their delusion and also the delusion in this phenomenal world. And the Buddha knew that once delusion is understood, it loses its power, hold over us, tied us up. Once we see delusion for what it is, we will want to be rid of it so we can more aware of things as they are. And also we will know how to choose the path in our life. When we recognize the truth, and then through this recognition, we will sit there and choose what to do for the next step. So the first, we talk about permanent. In the first Dharma seal, means all conditioned phenomena are impermanent. This means that phenomenal change, nothing can forever stay the same. Phenomenal consistently interacting with each other, constantly influencing each other, affecting each other, and cause each other to change. So it's just like us. Because of our father and mother, of these two entities, we are being born to this world. But when we're born to this world, without the oxygen, without the water, we can't survive. We need the basic needs as a human being to survive. And this oxygen and water will cause us to grow in a healthy way or in an unhealthy way. So if we drink a lot of dirty water, of course our health will not be good. And if we drink a lot of clean and healthy water, of course our body will be more healthy. And if we eat a lot of junk food, of course our body won't be good. This cause my body won't be good. And if I take care of my diet, of course our body will be much better. So everything influencing everything, and also cause other things to change. This constant flow of time from past, present to the future. All phenomena are changing from one instance to the next. It won't stop. It keeps on changing and changing. It keeps on arise and cease. So, as according to the Buddha, everything, every moment in this phenomenon is moving between the four status of birth, abiding, decay, and death. Nothing is impermanent. So for us as a human being, we have to go through this. None of us can escape from this. So we have to go through birth, old age, sickness, and death. All things, everything that you see, it has to be created, abiding, decay, and demolished. This is the truth in this world. So nothing in this phenomenal world will be forever there. So this is impermanence. And according to the Buddhist Sutra, there are two basic kinds of impermanence. Of course, there are a lot of explanations on the definition of impermanence, but in a way is that we can categorize into two kinds of impermanence. One is the momentary impermanence, and one is the periodic impermanence. So what is momentary impermanence? In Buddhism, a skandha is the smallest possible moment of time, which means that when we measure the time, we have minutes and seconds. So it's very fast, very fast. It's just like our thinking. It changes very fast and very quickly. So among all phenomena, those that change most quickly are our thoughts. It's just like the flower. The flower needs time to grow. It needs a few days, a few hours, a few months to go. But our mind do not need so long. It's very simple. I'm happy now. Now happy. Somebody say something bad about me or scold at me, shout at me. Immediately, the mind change from happiness to anger. Not even a second, just because of a word, of a expressions from the face. So it's so fast. And the deluded mind is like running water. It arises and flows without stopping, like lightning. The moment come and go and do not return. And it won't stay there. This lightning will not be the same as the next lightning. So it keep on changing and it's so fast. When we see the water flow, it won't stop, it keep on flowing. If we see the lightning, we might see a light just happen and gone. So it's so fast. Our mind, the thunder, things sometimes happens very fast. So this is a momentary impermanence. And the best example of this momentary impermanence is our mind, our thinking, our emotional reaction. That is momentary impermanence. The next is periodical impermanence. Since all phenomena are in a constant state of change over a long period of time, they will be extinguished. And this is called the periodical impermanence. And it's really just an accumulation of episodes of momentary impermanence mentioned above. So periodical impermanence is that every moment, the momentary moment keep on accumulating, and it start to become bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more we attach to that momentary impermanence, then that reactions of this momentary impermanence will become a periodical impermanence. So the process of arising, decay, and arising, abiding, changing, and ceasing in phenomenal, and the process of formation, abiding, decay, and emptiness in the universe itself are all built out of moments of gradual changes. So all this actually does not come immediately. Accumulate. It's just like us using our body to experience this. Actually, every second we are changing our physical body, but it won't appear immediately. We won't immediately get old. From a baby, we get the nutrition from the oxygen, the food, the water, and all kinds of things. We start to grow. A little bit by a little bit by a little bit. And all these conditions comes to us will also cause us to grow in a different way. So when a person eat junk food, does not sleep in the nighttime, drink alcohol, smoke, their skin, their faces, their physical body will be different from a person that do not smoke, do not drink, have a good life attitude or habits, even though they might be the same age, but they are different because they choose a different conditions. And that's why they will have different cause and effect. this condition caused these persons to have this effect, and this condition basically is chosen by us. So the same as the plant. It won't just pop up immediately. It needs time to accumulate in the momentary impermanence in order to have this periodical impermanence. But no matter which impermanence, in the end, it will cease or distinguished. So this is the truth, the ultimate truth. And when these gradual changes accumulate, substantially changes can be observed. So when we see a baby, the mom won't feel like the baby is growing. But for us is that if we don't see the baby for 2 to 3 months, when we look at this baby, it's different from the time when we saw him or her previously, because they grow. And we can observe the changes. We can observe it. The only thing is that we refuse to recognize or accept the changes. So even if we see the physical changes, but because we are unwilling to accept it, so we find all kinds of ways to express our unwillingness to accept it. And then we start to ignore the truth. So by understanding the first Dharma Seal is important, because once we recognize the brevity of life and the impermanence of all things, we will be motivated to delve even deeper into the truth of Buddhism. Means that when we recognize that life is impermanent, all things are impermanent, because of this impermanence, we will get motivated to get deeper exploration of this truth of Buddhism in order to understand our life and how to live our life. And that's why impermanence should not be frightened, but rather it should inspire us to appreciate our time in earth. We should understand that as difficult as life may be, we should always try to live a good life. Because we understand about this, we recognize it, we accept it, and that's why through this understanding, accepting and recognizing, we will have this motivation to explore further, to appreciate what we have in our life, to see what we can do in our life, to love those people that besides us, and also to cherish the thing, opportunity, the time in our life. We should not ignore it and run away from it, because running away means that we are fear. Ignoring is because we are angry. That's why we ignore it. We fear about it. But if we look directly into the truth and recognizing it and accepting it, and we choose the life to live happily, because time is limited. Time is very limited. We won't simply waste our time. We won't simply just ignore the people love the people around us. We won't be selfish, just looking to ourselves. Happiness does not come from selfish. So that's the reason why is impermanence brings us hope. When there's an impermanence, when the situation is bad, we will understand that this is impermanence too. We just have to adjust ourselves and try to make ourselves happy. And let this challenging situation pass. And when this is a good situation, we understand that it is impermanence. It might change to bad. So that's why we cherish every moment to enjoy, to appreciate what we have right now. We won't simply waste the time. We won't simply walk away from the things that we have. Impermanence gives us hope. Impermanence gives us inspiration. Impermanence gives us courage. So in Buddhism, it is not something about pessimistic. The Buddha basically guides us to live in a practical, smart life. He does not want us to live in a delusion life. And also, he does not want to see us continue to suffer. He wants to share with us how he realized the truth of this permanent, this phenomenal world. And that's the reason why he teaches us about impermanence, the hope in impermanence. And so this is why I would like to emphasize here again. Most people instinctively react negatively to the impermanence because they think that impermanence only means that what is good will get worse. But this is not the truth. It is true that it changes. So good might become bad. Bad might become worse. But at the same time, worse might become bad, and bad might become good, and good might become better. Right? So changes is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to have the hope in our life. Impermanence is a great source of hope. For its teachings teaches us that as hard as our present circumstances may be, they can change. If we have diligently cultivating good karmic causes, then the changes will come to change for the better. And of course, if we have a hard circumstances and we keep on cursing, we keep on complaining, we keep on accumulating or cultivating bad karmic causes, then of course, in the end, you'll get more suffering. It won't get better. So, by understanding the concept of impermanence can be a great aid in difficult situation. If we are poor, impermanence can teach us that our circumstances will not last forever. If we meet with a setback in our work, it can teach us not to be despair. if we meet with hardship or tragedy. Impermanence can teach us that one day things will change again for the better. Impermanence tells us that nothing stays there the same. It teaches us that things can change for the better if truly work to a better circumstances. If we work hard in a good karmic causes, we will be heading to the good circumstances, and vice versa. If we work in a bad karmic causes, and it will lead us to the bad circumstances. So contemplating impermanence also helps us to treasure what we have impermanence, teaches us to grateful for every moment of this life and also next life, and to use our time as productively as we can. We won't waste our time in unnecessary things. It reminds us that we do not make progress in Buddhism now, or the teachings in the Dharma now. We may have to wait many lifetimes before we encounter the Dharma again. Before we can understand how to see the truth. Impermanence inspires us to progress, study, and even learn. Because time is so precious. Time is so limited. And that's the reason why we will keep on learning things and contributing what we can. So now is the time to act. Don't wait. Because the present is at the time that we really have right now. Because now will become future. So if you want to learn the Dharma, don't hesitate. Learn it now. If you want to lead a better life, don't wait. Create good karmic causes. Do good things. Say good words. Have good thoughts. So these are very simple, but we didn't do it well. So I hope that through the understanding of impermanence, it will inspire us on how we live our life. So in today's sessions, I share with all of you about the impermanence in the Three Dharma Seal. And in next week, I will continue to share with all of you on the non-self in the Three Dharma Seal. Thank you very much and hope to see you next week. Om Tov.